Hey YouTube, what's up? Ember1205 here for the Hot Camaro channel. Uh, if this is your first time, welcome. If it's not your first time, welcome back. So today we're going to take a look at something that is hopefully going to help you keep your car out of the body shop. Is it a force field? Is it some sort of insulating bubble to put around the car? No, no, not anywhere near as fun. But it is something that I do hope you find useful. So let's get right to it. Okay, here is the before photo. This is a chip on the front bumper of my Summit White 2020 SS. This is, as you can see, near the gap between the bumper and the hood. It's through the clear coat, through the Summit White paint, and fully exposed the black plastic material of the bumper, and it sticks out like a sore thumb, and I hate it. My options would be to take it to a body shop, hand them a ridiculous amount of money, and have them end up having to dig into the paint on both the bumper and potentially also the hood, because they're going to want to blend, re-clear coating those panels, and potentially having issues where the clear coat has debris in it, doesn't have the right orange peel, it's not going to age the same as the car. It's just, forget it. 2, 3, 4 days without my car, $1,000 plus in repair, and it's just never going to look right. So I'm going a different route and doing a DIY repair. More often than not, folks don't do this, in my opinion, because the paint that you can get from the dealership or from the parts stores is never a good color match, and it just looks horrid. Yes, it's fine in terms of covering metal if you've got a chip like this on a metal panel. It'll cover the metal to keep it from rusting, but beyond that, it actually makes the damage look much, much worse. So I'm going a different route with DIY, and that's what I'm here to show you today. And the first step is to show you what it is that I actually have for product. So let's do that. Ta-da! We are unboxing a Dr. ColorChip paint repair kit. This specific kit is what they refer to as their squirt and squeegee system. And you'll understand that as we go through and get all of the pieces out here. Now, this kit in particular was customized to include the correct color matched paint for my car. So remember, Summit White, I gave them the paint code, and they were able to match everything up. Now, this stuff is brand new out of the box. I'm going to go ahead and put a paper towel down here to give me an opportunity to set stuff down and keep it clean, starting with this nitrile glove. So the goal for that is to wear it over over your hand so that you don't get any oils and such onto the paint. The next thing that we're going to grab here is this blue microfiber towel. This is what they refer to as the polishing cloth that you use at the end. And then over here on the other side, there's another cloth in here. This one is white, sort of like a gauze material, not quite. That's part of the sealant process. And then we've got really kind of the core of the system here, or the meat and potatoes, if you will. These couple things here, these are typically actually supposed to be inside of that plastic bubble pack, and they just kind of fell out. So there's actually 3 different applicators. I'm not going to touch them because I don't want to get them, dirty or get any oils or anything on them. But think small, very, very small, like artistic brush or Q-tip type thing, right? So these are paint applicators. Back of the box has the basic instructions. And then in here in the bubble pack is, as I mentioned, this is really kind of the core. So what we have in here is the paint itself. And interestingly, one of the things that I thought was worth pointing out is that this does call out step 1, but that does not match with step 1 on the back of the box. And then step 2 for this seal act that they have here, it's a sealant activator. This is also not really matched up with the steps correctly as well. So both step 1 and step 2 on these bottles lines up with step 2 on the box. The other thing that's in there you see is the rubber squeegee. And basically the guts of the process here is, their directions are at step 1, you want to prep everything. For step 2, you're going to go ahead and apply the paint. And then at step 3, you're going to blend and remove excess paint. Now, step 1, again, all about the prep. I've already done this to my car, but you really want to get in there and wash, dry, and then you want to go back and you want to use some sort of a solvent to get any sort of dirt, oil, grease, anything like that off of all of the surfaces. You can use a variety of different things. They call out everything from rubbing alcohol to isopropyl alcohol. I think somewhere it talks about denatured alcohol. They're all similar. They're different, but they're similar. I've seen other stuff online about paint prep to use things like toluene and other similar, much stronger chemicals. I have a product that was referred to me by a body shop guy years ago. He referred to it as something called Pre-Cleano. It's actually a Sherwin-Williams product. It's R7K156, I think is their chemical product number. And it's always worked well for me. It does a great job of taking waxes, oils, greases, and whatnot off of the paint. So clean the paint, wash it, dry it, take a solvent, clean all of the oils and dirts and everything off, and then you can come back here and follow through on the different steps that they have here to get you going. So let's go ahead and switch over and see this in action on the car.
All right, this has been wiped down, wiped off, cleaned up, and everything's ready to go. Now I've got this one chip on the top of the front bumper, which you can see here, and I also have, and it's almost certainly not going to be something the camera will pick up. I also have in addition to the chip here, I have a gouge, maybe I guess you might call it, in the clear coat over here. So if you see me working over to this area, that's why. I am set up with my container of paint, color matched for summer white. This has a mixer in it like a rattle can. So I've just been shaking this back and forth like this for a while. Make sure that it's mixed up really well. I have the squeegee available, and I also have a paper towel up here that has been dampened, which I'll use to wipe the squeegee off. So what I'm going to do is what you have probably seen in other videos from Dr. ColorChip, which is I'm going to drip some paint up here above the chipped area and over here, put a couple of drops down, and then use the squeegee to kind of pull it down and smooth it around, because this is really kind of what they're showing you to do, and I'm going to follow their guidance. I'm eager to see how the paint matches, because as I move this thing around, it seems like it changes color. If I hold it near the car, it looks like it's a pretty good white, but if I hold it closer to my shirt, which is purple, it definitely picks up a purple tinge. So I'm definitely eager to see how this is going to look once it's on the car. So I'm not wearing the glove, really, because at this point I don't feel like I need to. I've got the paint open, here's the squeegee, and off we go. So I'm going to try to do this so that you can see as much as possible. And granted, these are pretty small blemishes in the paint, so obviously you wouldn't expect to need a lot of paint to patch them up, but what have I used? 3 drops, and I'm done. And that's really all I'm going to do. That's it. I'm going to let that sit there and dry. As mentioned, I'm going to wipe the paint off of the squeegee, because we want this to be as clean as possible, so that if we need to use it again, it's ready to go. And that's it. And for any of you that have ever had body work done or been to a repair shop, that is now what it smells like in here. It is that very distinctive auto paint aroma. And again, it was 3 drops of paint that I put down. So that is it. that's all I'm doing for now. I'm going to leave that alone. I will come back to it in probably about 5 minutes, and we'll do it again. I'll put a little bit more on there, and we'll build that up a little, and we'll see where it goes. All right, round 2. And as far as what you're seeing in the video, you're probably not really seeing much of anything at all going on here right now, because it looks like from the angle of the camera this is mostly covered. But I assure you there is still a little bit of a divot here to deal with. Definitely still building it up. And that's really kind of the goal here, is to build this up slow and get it to a point where when we come back with the sealant activator, the Seal Act, that there's something there to leave behind, if you will. So that's it, round 2. Not probably not going beyond this. So I want to say probably let about 5 or 6 minutes elapse. It's currently, according to the thermometer here in my garage, about 84 degrees, 46% humidity. Gotta be honest, it feels a lot more humid than that. But that's what the gauge says. So I think it's probably going to need a little extra time to dry, but we'll leave it alone for a bit, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to Seal Act it and see what it looks like. All right, this is the Seal Act step 2. This is intended to take the let's call it overspray, right? Think of it as overspray. The excess paint off of the clear coat and stuff is intended to wipe that down so that we end up with just a filled chip when we're done. Instructions say shake vigorously for 10 seconds. I'm shaking for at least that. We're going to use the white wiping cloth. Instructions say to squirt this out onto the cloth in a 1-inch square, wipe rapidly but lightly over the surface. And the goal is to just get the paint off. Once we get the excess overage paint, spill over, whatever you want to call it, overspray, think of it, whatever. Once we get that off, we're done. If it turns out that this isn't enough of a repair, I can come back and do more. So I put some on here. I'm just going to go over this very lightly. And again, what I'm really looking to do here is basically wipe off the excess paint. It's been about 10 minutes that I let it sit and dry. And at this point, we're looking to get all this overage paint off. Probably going to need some more of this solution because it's starting to dig in there, but it's going to take a couple of runs. So shake it up real good. Squirt some more on the cloth. Probably go with a little bigger of an area this time. Back to the wiping process we go. And I'm just trying to position myself at a good enough angle here so that I can see when the excess paint has been successfully wiped off of the clear coat, because we're looking to make this nice and smooth. So what I want to do is just go, back and forth, wipe off the excess, and take this down to a point where what I leave behind lays nice and smooth with the paint that's already there. So in reality, I put on however much paint, right? At this point, I'm going back and I'm taking like 99% of it back off. So that's not bad, but I still got a little bit here where there's still some crap on the paint. flipping over to a clean part of the cloth here for a final kind of wipe down. And that's pretty much it. That's all she wrote for this. So I'm calling this done for now. I may come back later and do another layer. The goal here is to fill this well enough so that the distinctive black that was here of the plastic in this case isn't an attractive item to your eye, right? It doesn't draw your eye right to it. I think we've definitely done that by getting rid of the distinct black area. But what I'm looking at does still show, you know, some defect. It's definitely in the right direction, but I have a feeling that this is going to need to be done because I can still feel that. And because I can still feel it, that means that there's still an active, let's call it a depression in that area, meaning that there's, you know, more space to fill, right? I can get more paint in there. So this is pretty easy to do. You just got to be kind of particular about it. And I'm going to come back and touch this up a little bit more and try to get you an idea of what this looks like when it's, you know, completely done. For right now, let me just see if I can get a shot here. This is real hard to see. But that's what it looks like filled. And again, this is just a couple of quick layers. I will be able to put some more on here later. I did use my DSLR to take a before picture. I'm going to go ahead and take an after picture as well, and I'll show you that in the video as well.
Okay, so after going back and hitting this with the microfiber to polish off all of the haze and such, this is now what we have. Now, first off, there's a little bit of kind of shadowing in there. It makes the coloration look a little worse than it actually is. This is actually a very good overall match. And the darker colors there, especially around the defect area, don't actually show through. So, you know, here as a close-up taken from the same position on a tripod using the same DSLR and the same lighting, this is an exact view of what it looks like after the repair. I did do a little bit more beyond this and made it a little bit filled, right? Added a little bit more paint, but generally it's pretty good. So let's move on to the recap.
All right, so there you have it. I'm going to give the overall system, the overall repair, thumbs up, and that's partly because ease of use, thumbs up. Pretty simple to put it together and set it up and use it. And color match, thumbs up. So on my car with what it is, Summit White, that's not a metal flake color, it's not a pearlescent color, so color match on that is a little bit easier to attain than some of the other colors out there. But still, you know, it is a very good color match, right? It's pretty much dead on. I did, as I mentioned, I did do a little bit more work on it, added a little bit more. I may continue to do it over time and continue to build that up and see if I can fill that a little more until I get it, you know, pretty good. But the cool part is, one of the big reasons that I give this a thumbs up as a repair is that if you look at the repairs that are done with the other systems that are out there, right? You go get that bottle of paint from the dealership or from a box store, a parts store, whatever, right? Those have that like fingernail polish brush inside. When you put it on, you end up leaving this like halo around the damaged area. And in addition to the fact that the color doesn't match very well, now you have this great big splotch on your car of color that doesn't match very well. So it's an ugly repair in so many circumstances. And honestly, it's a big part of why I just gave up on them years and years and years ago. This was something new that I thought was worth trying. Definitely happy that I did try it and pleased with the results. So have you used this? Have you thought about using this? So definitely in the comments below, tell me what your experience is, or maybe talk to me about what sort of damage to the front end you're hoping to repair. Like the video, please. Subscribe to the channel so you get notices on new stuff coming out. And until next time, Ember 1205 out.